All right, let's go ahead and jump over to the app. As mentioned, when the application is flying, or when the aircraft is flying, we're only touching on the camera and the aircraft is going to be following a flight plan that I already set up. But on the top left, we have our dynamic track button. We're going to go ahead and click that from the left of the screen. We have tracking started. Anywhere that I touch on the screen in order to help navigate, this will pull it off the flight plan. So you can see that that just happened here. Additionally, I have a GPS point that has been created down here on a position that I went ahead and clicked on. So I'm just gonna, this is kind of how I navigate the aircraft, is touching on the screen and navigate the aircraft around. I'm not doing anything else here. I'm not touching sticks or anything like that. Once it gets to a position of what you want to look at or see, then I can use the zoom camera, the wide camera, the infrared camera to focus in on that object or item. So we can see that the camera is panning down right here because this is the position in which I kind of touched on the screen. It then is going to go ahead and go start a flight path that just goes around that object. Remembering that, again, I have a GPS point and a position of where that object is or where that position is that I touched on the screen. If I go a little bit further down, let's see if I can find my person that I'm trying to track here. So I'm going to zoom in just a little bit. And we're going to try to observe and see if we can find an object, a person, anything like that. The AI is kind of, like I said, we'll put targets down to kind of give us an idea of what we're tracking, but the AI isn't perfect. It just tries to do its best to figure out what objects are on the ground. Okay, we've found our object in the screen, and I'm going to zoom in with the zoom camera here, and we'll see if the AI tracks or tries to pick up this subject as an item. So that's it. That's what it sees right now. I'm going to go ahead and click on him as a target and hit start following. So as it follows, it's going to, this is a pretty wide open area. Something to consider is that if we're tracking anything or watching anything, sometimes obstacles get in the way, such as trees, buildings, things like that. So it may not keep track of the item the whole time, but the whole key to this is to try to at least keep the item or the whatever you're looking at in a field of view that makes sense. When we zoom in really far, and I'm going to go ahead and zoom in quite far to our object here, or to our person. If we go even in further, we're down to 100, 130. Looks like he has objects in his hand, but let's take a look at the wide view. So if the wide view is where it is, it's kind of hard to see in the wide view exactly where the person is, but if I lose him in the zoom, I can jump back and forth. That's kind of the beauty of the zoom and the wide, being able to jump back and forth. Let's go ahead and open up a little bit. And in the flight plan, you can see that it's already tracking a GPS point that's moving. We see that happening. And lastly here, I just want to talk about dynamic tracking, is to go ahead and being able to flip between two different images here. If we go to the image, the infrared camera, we can zoom in a little bit in on the infrared. We can see that person there, looks really good. We can hit record here, and this will then start recording on all three cameras. So the tracking itself, working very well on this. If we want to abort the tracking, we're going to go ahead and hit the top left button here. We're going to hit and then continue the mission. So up on the top left, right underneath the notification tab, we'll hit confirm, and she's done tracking. So just a couple of things on the dynamic tracking. You can definitely get a little bit more, a little bit better on being able to watch things, zoom in on those things, but it takes a fair bit of practice to do dynamic tracking very well and not lose your subject.